Welcome to the Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special, where we talk about all of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror episodes. Today we are talking about Treehouse of Horror 19 from season 20 of The Simpsons. An overall okay episode with one really good segment, I think. Alright, so let's start with the introduction. So we start on probably the scariest day of the year, Election Day. This one for 2008. Homer wants to vote for Obama, but he can't fit into the voting booth, so then he's told to go into the double-wide booth. And when he presses, and it's one of those touch-screen electronic voting booths, and when he tries to vote for Obama, the machine says 1 vote for McCain. No, I want to vote for Obama. It pushes again 2 votes for McCain. Pushes again 3 votes for McCain. No, 6 votes for McCain. Hey, I only meant 1 of those votes for McCain. This machine is rigged. And actually at one point I think the machine even calls him President McCain.
Yes, it does.
And so Homer tries to escape the booth to warn President McCain. And the machine just like grabs him and basically, it sounds like it shreds him. But it just, you hear the shredding sound, but then it spits him out whole. So the sound doesn't really match what we get, but oh well. And then, yeah, basically kills Homer, and then Jasper puts the I voted sticker on Homer, and then we get our title, Treehouse of Horror 19. Mark? Zach?
I think
David?
I'll leave it at, I will say this statement and I'll leave it at that. Some jokes were funny at one point. Now they're even more funny now than they ever were. I call it the Demolition Man effect. That movie was not that relevant when the movie came out, but is so relevant now.
All right, so let's get into our first segment, Untitled Robot Parody. I believe, David, you are covering this one?
Yep.
Tell us about Untitled Robot Parody.
Well, this is a Transformers parody. We start off with Bart trying to find a Christmas gift for Lisa, which makes sense for a Halloween special.
Sure.
He ends up at a store, the Last Minute store, I think it's called, right?
Yeah,
The Last Minute gift
The last
store.
minute gift.
Forget-me-nots, the store for last-minute gifts.
Well, that's the only thing open. He goes in, everything is more geared towards boys, and I think there was like a Transformer truck.
Well,
looked
there was
like
that
Optimus
basket
Prime.
of like discount toys. There was like the Slunky, which is a square slinky on the boxes. It doesn't do anything.
And funny
And
if you're a baseball fan, Montreal
Yeah.
Expos jersey.
Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, Montreal Expos was obviously a baseball team that was a low market, but their farm systems were just amazing. You know, with superstars coming through their systems like Vladimir Guerrero, I think David Martinez.
Really?
So yeah,
Okay.
farm systems were freaking amazing, but they could never afford to keep them because they were such a small market. So the baseball decided to, or I guess the team or the owners decided to move and rename the team. So now they're the Washington Nationals.
Oh.
So
I would actually loved a couple more T-shirt gags out of that, or
Yeah.
at least that, and then like an XFL T-shirt.
Yeah.
Out of the park.
I also
XFL
like
can
they
never
had
get it right.
the somber string, which is like silly string, but it had a picture of a kid hanging himself with it.
That was dark, and I liked it. It's funny.
But yeah, Optimus Prime truck comes by and honks at Bart, I think, and he turns around and is like, no, you have to come back. You're not the perfect gift for Lisa.
Trucks are for boys.
Yeah,
Come back when you're something for girls.
Yeah, and then he transforms into a convertible Malibu Stacy vehicle, and he's like, yeah, it's perfect. And it's time to open the presents. She's excited because it wasn't a box of burps like last year, but he had one special for her stocking and burps in it.
Her stocking stuffer.
Yeah,
Typical
nice.
brother.
While everyone's not paying attention, the Transformer shoots the angel off the tree, disintegrates it, and it turns into a skull for some reason.
For some reason, that angel had a skeleton. That's concerning to me. Like, was this a thing that used to be alive? Or...
It's like the lead into the dolls.
Yeah, it's like there's an episode where they're tearing down Storytime Village for Ned's Christian amusement park. And so you have Little Bo Peep's sheep, and Homer is like burning something, and the fire gets out of control and burns the sheep, and there are 3 sheep there, and like a Bo Peep statue that all they get set on fire, the fire goes out, and you have like the wires for the Bo Peep figurine, then you have like 2 wires in the shape of sheep, and then you have 1 little sheep skeleton right there.
Whoops. Whoops.
Wow.
Jesus.
Fucking.
Fire's out of control.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
And also don't forget Grandpa Simpson's present, 3 more minutes of oxygen.
If I could pass out in the front yard. Yeah, it was great.
Fucking flight face plants into the snow.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah, he said some pretty Grandpa
Yeah.
Grandpa Simpson, although the greatest joke he'll ever tell in all of these Treehouse of Horrors is the welfare joke. That is hands down the best joke.
He had some great cameos for these tree houses.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, when they're not paying attention, Transformer does that, and Maggie's the only smart one who sees that and tries to tell him about the Transformer, but obviously she can't talk because she's a baby. We get to the bedroom. I think Lisa's sleeping, and her new toy transforms all the technology in her room.
Yep, it's like the lamp, I think her alarm clock,
boombox,
and then she wakes up, and they all transform back to what they were really quickly. Just kind of looks around, goes back to sleep, and they all transform back. You're like, we're all here. Wait a minute, where's sex toy? And then you have this one little walk in, just like, where have you been?
You know?
Where haven't I been?
It's freaking gross. Gross, but
let your
true.
imagination run wild on that one.
Yep, and he's electrical.
Which, the lamp transformer,
Battery powered.
the lamp transformer was also named Three-Way.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
That means 2 things.
No, it means 3 things.
Oh, Zach
It's got you there, Mark.
Yeah. Yep. No. That is accurate.
God, you guys are so immature.
No shit, Sherlock.
Stop it, David.
David, how can you call us immature when we're here talking about mature content?
Hey, wait.
I mean, before we started this freaking recording, you guys said penis like 20 fucking times.
And I have an announcement to make.
Testicles. That is all.
All right, 21 times.
How mature are you on a scale of 1 to 100? 69.
Okay, we're in the kitchen now. Homer's eating breakfast, and everything around him is basically transformed. And he's trying to figure out if there's anything different about the kitchen. And there's like, nope. And the toaster transforms into the word no. It's like, well, the toaster's never lied to me.
Well, he's not wrong.
Not wrong.
Homer.
It has taken him through time, though.
True.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then he
the
ends up
adventures.
leaving and gets in his car, and his car transforms and basically shifts him, and he ends up pretty much half out of the Transformer's ass, essentially.
Yeah.
I would call his fucking ass.
Him and
Homer-
Ned are hanging out of the assholes of 2 different Transformers.
Homer's a tingleberry.
Yes.
That's exactly
Yeah,
that is
constipated
the technical.
tingleberry.
That is the technical term.
Yep.
Yeah, and so was Ned.
How was your
Yeah, he was.
Christmas, Homer? That's pretty good. I get season 7 of Seinfeld.
Yeah, so they're battling it out, basically to wage war against each other. Then Marge ends up trying to have a conversation with them and what started the war, and they're like, well, can't really remember. Yeah, I can't remember. So we're just going to work together and maybe just enslave you guys.
Hashtag the writers couldn't think of anything.
Pretty fucking much. But yeah, they enslave them and turn them into,
Foosball.
foosball. And they're like, who the hell told them about frickin' foosball? I thought they would have fun. At least that's what Homer said.
It was fun. It was a fun episode. I think I'm gonna go with a word you use a lot, which is breezy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a segment that literally had no story,
Yeah.
it was probably a lot more enjoyable than it should have been.
True.
But I always forget that this is a Treehouse segment.
Yeah. This wasn't really a horror,
Yeah.
oriented thing. I
It
mean,
was just kind of there.
the I think Zach or you said in the last episode where like it just they just put things in where they just don't know where to put it, like during the regular show.
Yeah.
Like cool shit that they like. I think it was Zach's idea that to do something separate, like where they actually have like a themed episode where they put on like the Mr. and Mrs. Smith one and the Transformers one, and instead of it, and just leave Treehouse as a horror themed rather than just
Yeah, I've noticed the last 3 episodes they've done that, and where like the third one is Halloween oriented.
Well, this was 2008, so this is Transformers country.
That was,
Yeah.
Transformers came out in the summer of 07.
Yeah, so it was like right there, like right in between 1 and 2.
Yeah, not a whole lot to it. Some jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Forgettable fun.
Yeah.
As
I'm gonna go.
opposed to forgettable badness like that one from 17.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which one?
Exactly.
before the dark times.
Before the Raven.
The sea lion. It's after the raven.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have How to Get Ahead in Dead-Vertising. Mark, tell us about that one.
So this episode starts out with with a parody of the opening of Mad Men, which had come out at that same time as well. For everybody who's been living under a rock in the last 15 years, I'm sorry, not 15, 12 years. The show Mad Men was a show that was made by AMC about advertising gentlemen in the beginning of the 1960s all the way through the 60s. Phenomenal show. Highly recommend it.
The first season starts in 1960 and the final season ends in 1970.
So it's clear through the 60s. A show that sounds extremely boring when you describe it to somebody, but when you actually watch it, it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
And
it actually turns Principal Skinner's background into a legitimate dramatic plot point.
Yes, we'll get to that in a second.
How Principal Skinner took over the identity of somebody he was.
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Okay.
You'll watch Men, Zach. So in this particular plot, Maggie finally goes to preschool, and Homer and Marge are leaving her for the first time. So she goes ahead, and Homer, just trying to not make sure she's upset, says, "Well, your friend Krusty is here," and it's several different pictures of Krusty in the nursery. And she seems pretty okay. And then they finally reach the end of the montage or the portraits of Krusty, then land on the real Krusty, who's very pissed that his likeness is being used for that. So he has a bunch of big dudes sandblast his face off all of the payments. This really upsets Maggie. So Homer gets pissed, and he comes out and he confronts Krusty, and he's like, "This is ridiculous. You made my daughter cry. Fuck you." Da da da. He's like, and then they get a little bit of a fight. Homer ends up pushing him, and through a random sequence of events, going through on top of a trampoline and in a seesaw and a bunch of other shit, ends up inside of a wood chipper, which was actually pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Reminded me of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Except Tucker and Dale, it was a lot funnier in that one. But that being said, they ended up killing him. And then the lawyer, the stereotypical lawyer, shows up at Homer's house and says, "You have a nag for killing celebrities." And pretty much two other guys from Mad Men and Roger from Mad Men show up and say, "Hey, we're going to pay you a bunch of money to kill a bunch of celebrities because you're really good at it." And he says, "Okay, cool." And he goes through a whole montage of killing people. My favorite was the extra quicksand for George Clooney, which was awesome. And he goes ahead and strangles Prince with his own guitar,
And stabs him with it.
and then stabs him with it. A couple more celebrity deaths and then they all end up in heaven while they're all chatting. I'm sorry. The reason why they're killing the celebrities is so they can use their likeness on television for free.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're paying Homer to kill them, so they can just use it in advertisements without paying the actors. So all the actors are eventually watching up all their advertisements in heaven, and they're super pissed. So they all hop on their horses, their white horses, and then they go and charge down to
Jimmy
take
Stewart tries to stop them.
I thought that was Jimmy Stewart. Tries to stop them. They run him over.
And as they're charging out of the gates of heaven, you see that they're actually charging out of celebrity heaven.
And the regular heaven's like right over there, with a shitty fence blocking it. So they go ahead and they come down. They end up killing a bunch of people. They're running after Homer, and along with John Wayne, who's the leader of that group, and then also Krusty. So they eventually tag team with Homer, and Homer gets punched by Rip Taylor.
Comic book guy was.
Comic book guy gets punched by Rip Taylor, even though Rip Taylor's not dead.
But then he's like, somebody needs to check my apartment.
And then everyone like rolled their eyes, and I'm like, no, that's just so everybody knows that's exactly how Rip Taylor is. He's that ridiculous.
Yeah.
We've also got Chief Wiggum with Edward G. Robinson.
Oh yeah, which was a really funny joke, but only if you're a fan of 1930s gangster movies.
Yeah.
And then eventually Homer gets confronted, and he says, "Before I go, I need you to tell me the true religion. It's a mix between voodooism and Methodism," and then shoots his head off.
School point blank with a shotgun.
And it was pretty great. And then eventually they all run back up to heaven, and where Homer locks the pearly gates behind him, and then is on the other side with Lincoln. And I forgot. They ran a commercial with George Washington and Lincoln, and they're both getting married, and they both make out. And George Washington is so affronted by that, but Lincoln's he is like, I'm totally offended by that, but not unless you're into it. They implying that that Lincoln's very gay, and then eventually they're walking away from the pearly gates, and Homer's like, hey, do you have is your wife up here? And he's like, and Lincoln's like, yeah, but we have an arrangement. And then Lincoln grabs Homer's ass, and then that's the end of the episode.
That's 2 Lincoln jokes and 2 Treehouse of Horrors in a row.
Yeah, this one was better.
Yeah, this one was better, because we didn't talk about it on the last episode, but during the E.T. Go Home, Bart trying to hide Kodos segment, Homer distracts the army by dressing up as Lincoln.
But has no actual history.
There is no context to that whatsoever. It's just there.
No, and then he just is getting history completely wrong and literally impersonating Scarlett O'Hara's voice while dressed as Lincoln, saying the South will rise again. But no, I mean you're almost there, Homer. You're almost there. We just got to shift it a little bit. That's all. But yeah, this is a fun episode. There's a lot of cool celebrity references in here. Krusty was actually really good. I enjoyed, his puns. There was a lot of, funny things in there. It was fun to make fun of advertisement, and it was cool to see the Mad Men opening. They did a really good job parodying that. But overall, yeah, it was a fun episode. If it didn't have Mad Men stuff in it, I would probably put it into the column of middle of the road, gonna forget.
There's some okay stuff in here. I didn't really care for it overall.
Yeah, I mean,
just this, there are some good jokes in there, there's a nice little exchange between John Wayne and Prince.
Yeah,
that was probably my favorite part.
That was funny.
Because John Wayne's making fun of Prince's mustache, and Prince is like, well, your wife liked it.
Yeah. You're all right.
I wouldn't call the opening a parody of the Mad Men opening, because it's not really going for jokes.
But
it is a nice little replication of it, using Simpsons characters.
Replication, homage, rip-off, whatever you want to say.
Whatever.
It's a thing.
Yeah, there's some okay stuff, but this would be probably on the lower side of okay for me.
Okay. And I think I'm gonna stand by what I said, which is if it wasn't for the Mad Men stuff, I would completely forget this.
I've forgotten it already. Mainly because I'm not a big Mad Men fan anyway, so I didn't really care for their intro.
There isn't a whole lot of Mad Men in this. It's, you have the opening, and you have the Roger lookalike, and you have the fact that it's related to advertising, and that's really it. For the most part, this is really just its own story.
This is kind of where I put on the Zach glasses just a little bit with his frustration with the titles. This is that one time when I'm like, I would have liked to have seen far more Mad Men parody than whatever.
Yeah,
this
there
story
is
was.
actually a legitimate episode, a regular episode of Simpsons that goes more into that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So that's
It's called The Man in the Flannel Pants, I believe.
Okay. I can roll.
Yeah, this one does kind of get me a little bit on that front a little bit too, because it's just like it's not a title. Like a title is a title. Like they've even said our titles, we make them up purely for episode guides. It's like if any of us can make a pun that even remotely reflects the subject matter of this,
we'll do it.
We'll do it. Even just if it's just like by like 1%. We just need a title for episode guides. But this one, they actually went out of their way to replicate the entirety of the Mad Men opening sequence.
Yes.
So yeah, that does make me wish they went a little more in the Mad Men, because if you're going to take that much trouble, like it's not just, oh, here's a title with a pun. They went through the trouble to do that.
Exactly.
But there is an actual episode of The Simpsons that does parody Mad Men a little bit more. They even have the John Deere scene in there.
Oh shit! Really?
Yep.
Awesome.
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on?
Nah.
All right. Finally, we have It's the Grand Pumpkin Milhouse. Zach, tell us about the Grand Pumpkin.
So the Grand Pumpkin is a ripoff of the Great Pumpkin, only just, more violent. So Milhouse, he's heard the story of the Grand Pumpkin. Bart tells him, "No, that was just a dumbass story I told you to fuck with you."
That's accurate. Yep.
And then Milhouse returns with, "I know you're trying to test my faith, so I thank you, my friend."
He has like a whole prayer for the Grand Pumpkin.
He thought way too much of this. So, yeah, just like in the Charlie Brown special, the Great Pumpkin, Milhouse goes and waits on the middle of the pumpkin patch. All the kids make fun of him and then proceed to ditch him. As he's waiting out there, Lisa's with him for a little bit. Then she kicks him in the balls because she realizes, oh, this is probably just a hoax. So he proceeds to cry on this pumpkin, and he turns into the Grand Pumpkin. Milhouse gives him pumpkin bread. The pumpkin realizes it was made from pumpkins, and then proceeds to start killing everybody for pumpkin genocide.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The episode ends by Milhouse believing in the turkey guy or whatever.
Turkey Tom.
Turkey Tom.
Tom Turkey.
Turkey, sorry.
Who shoves that weird Thanksgiving
cornucopia?
Basket, whatever it is, cornucopia, sure, into the Great Pumpkin's mouth, or Grand Pumpkin, and proceeds to blow the back of his head off. And then the turkey realizes that people eat turkeys on Thanksgiving and starts eating all the kids.
But you're also missing the funniest fucking part of the whole episode.
Yeah, let's go through some of the stuff that the Grand Pumpkin does. So first up is Homer, who is carving jack-o'-lanterns on his front stoop. And he's talking to this one that he's about to cut into. He's just like, I'm going to give you the ugliest teeth, crossed eyes, and I'm going to make your friends watch. And as he cuts into it, the Grand Pumpkin just screams, "No!" Eats Homer in one gulp. Ladies. Goes on his way.
And he gets mad at himself for being so awkward with the ladies. He's like, stupid.
Yeah. The ladies being the jack-o'-lanterns that Homer had already carved up.
And are completely lifeless.
Yep. And then when he's at the school party, Halloween party, groundskeeper Willie offers him a pumpkin seed, and he's like, "You roast the unborn."
And then proceeds to eat Willie.
Yep, and then there's Nelson threatens to cut up a yellow pumpkin, to which the Grand Pumpkin says, "What do I care? That's a yellow pumpkin." No. Nelson says, "You're a racist," and the Grand Pumpkin says, "All pumpkins are racist. The difference is I admit it." It's Nelson, and then There's also a shot of him just digging through Principal Skinner's brains, and Skinner's just sitting there like, is there a particular part of my brain you're looking for?
Or you just
Like he's ready to help the Grand Pumpkin murder him. And then, of course, the Grand Pumpkin's final words before dying from Tom Turkey is, "Pumpkin segregation forever."
Jesus. Because when you're gonna make an evil pumpkin, why not make him racist?
Fucking weird.
It was weird, and that's what I love about it. They also did a pretty good job at kind of merging the animation styles of Peanuts and Simpsons.
Especially with the whole opening.
Yeah.
The opening was good. What the hell is his name? The fucking dumb fat kid. I can't remember his name. He was in a cowboy costume. He had the dirt under his
Ralph?
feet. Yeah. Like the dirt animation under his feet. I'm like, oh, well, they took that.
And then you have Santa's little helper flying in the doghouse like Snoopy.
Yeah, that was the.
I was gonna say that just looked like a random dog. It didn't look anything like Santa's little helper though, so I wouldn't really call him that.
They kind of tinkered with his design a little bit to fit more of the Peanuts style, but you do see him lying on his doghouse like Snoopy earlier on.
Snooper.
Snooper. Snoopy's generic knockoff.
Yep. Yeah, this was a funny episode.
Yeah,
especially
I really liked this one.
The racist pumpkin was great.
And then at the end, through the school windows, you see silhouettes of Tom Turkey eating children. Which the difference between the Grand Pumpkin and Tom Turkey is the Grand Pumpkin, after he's dead, Nelson, Willie, and Homer are still intact. Like, they're just literally just sitting inside of a giant pumpkin.
Pretty much.
Whereas Tom Turkey actually has a digestive system.
So everybody's dead.
Yeah.
You're
in turkey stomach acid.
And then,
I'm sure that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking and Bart makes it worse and everything else. Like, yeah, we kill turkeys, they're delicious. And then on Thanksgiving, we take stuffing and shove it up their ass.
The word ass was in there.
It was.
Lisa muffled him, but it was in there.
Oh, it wasn't censored at all. Like, I'm like, oh wow, they actually allowed that. Good for them. I'm proud of them.
Yeah. And then we have Marge taking us out by saying, that's our Halloween special. The kids have learned the important lesson about what Halloween is about, or Thanksgiving, or whatever. And for those of you who feel we trampled on a beloved children's classic, feel free to write to womp womp womp. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite segments out of any Treehouse of Horror.
And I actually like the Charlie Brown tune. I always have, so it was cool to hear it.
I've seen it once when I was a little kid, and I really don't remember anything about it.
I've seen it a few times.
I mean, every Christmas you always hear the Charlie Brown tune, which I actually like.
Yeah, I like the tune too.
Yeah.
I hate Christmas music.
I know you do, but that's a different.
But it's not Christmas music; it's the Peanuts theme.
But they always play it every Christmas.
Really overplay it during fucking
Christmas
holiday
times.
season, and it just stop it.
Is there a reason behind that?
I have no idea.
It's happy, jolly stuff. You know, the stuff that makes you want to puke.
Sure.
Because like I know there's the Peanuts Christmas special, which again I've only seen that one once.
I think it's very famous for playing that song in that Christmas special, even though it plays it in every special. But
yeah, well, they had like a whole cartoon show and everything, so it's like why like. And I guess the Christmas special made a huge impact on people of that generation.
It's probably the reason why
I've seen way more of just the regular Peanuts cartoons than their holiday specials, so maybe that's why it just doesn't have the same Christmas feel to me.
Yeah, I get it. But yeah,
Christmas is evil.
I like Christmas.
I know.
We know, Zach. We know. But yeah, this is fun. This was a fun time.
Yeah,
sure it was.
Any other thoughts on Grand Pumpkin?
I enjoyed this segment a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Definitely entertaining, good animation, fucked up.
Yeah, you have a turkey murdering children at the end.
Yeah, especially because obviously you know the difference, because when the Grand Pumpkin was, shot and they were all intact, and with the turkey having the just digestive system, those kids are freaking dead.
Yeah. Lucky for them, this is not in continuity.
Yeah.
Word. They'll be back next week.
All right. Funniest moment of the episode.
Racist pumpkin.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to go with racist pumpkin.
Sure.
Yeah, racist pumpkin.
Scariest, creepiest, grossest, favorite moment of violence.
Krusty going through the wood chipper.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Pretty awesome.
I did dig that. That was probably one of my favorite ones. And then probably either it started with that or Homer getting his head blown off.
I'm going to go with wood chipper because that one definitely had a lot of blood to it. And it went a long way to end at the wood chipper, but it was kind of worth it when it happened.
That and like Homer like grabbed Krusty's heart and tried to resuscitate him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck?
That was fun.
The
Least favorite segment? Mine is 2.
2. I'm definitely going to go with 2.
Which one was 2?
2
Mad
was
Men.
the advertising one.
Yeah,
I think 1.
1?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
robots? Okay.
I would do. I'm gonna go with the one. The robots.
Yeah.
So we're split down the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said earlier, they're both okay. Robots, I thought, had some humor to it, but has no story. Whereas the second one had more of a story, but just didn't quite land on all of its humor for me.
Fair enough.
Favorite segment?
3.
3.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got 3.
Pretty clear winner for this one, I think.
Yeah. Once again, we're back to the tradition of the third one ranking.
So yeah, that is Treehouse of Horror 19. Overall, okay. I thought we had a really good intro, 2 okay segments to start, but it ended with, at least for me, one of my favorite segments out of any Treehouse of Horror.
When it's in the grand scheme of things, when I'm taking a look at all the segments, I'm going to remember the third one, but I'm not going to remember the first 2.
Yeah.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Those first 2 are going to land right in that middle dead zone where there's a, where
Yeah. Like you watch this episode specifically for that third segment.
yeah, 100%.
All right. So thank you for listening to this edition of Midwest Horror Network's October 2020 special. Be sure to listen to our regular podcast, the Nightmares Podcast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, be sure to look us up on social media at Midwest Horror Network on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and
Slasher. And of course, if you're on Spotify listening to this, go ahead and press that follow button. Then also, if you're checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and stab that like button and then smash that subscribe. And then also click the little ringy bell so every time that we post new content, you will be notified about it. And we'll see you tomorrow.
happy October 19th.